to another shop talk. Today is going to be a quick one. It's going to be the first look at a new machine. You can hear it in the background. It is making briquettes, little small briquettes from the sawdust waste, and it's a major part of the workshop process dealing with the sawdust fallout. When we were making the windows and the oak frames and the doors, man, the amount of sawdust we were going through is just insane. These big bulk bags, 7 or 8 of them in about 3 days. What the hell you do with it? So I've got one of these presses I'm going to show you now. First of all, I'll just show you quickly, first look inside the new kind of extractor room. So I've got a new Felder machine. I'm going to do more on this later. There's a good reason why I've picked this, but I will come back to it in another video. And then there's 2 of these 7.5 kilowatt fans with these bags and filters, and 2 300 mil ducts. They all come from the new planer. So that is just the planer sander, 4 bags of the stuff. And as I say, I'm going to come back to why, but you can see in here working on the resin table, there's resin in there that does not want to go in your compactor. This is mostly clean from saws and planers, so most of the time that can go in there, but what you do is you just pull out the bag, give it a clean if you're going to start putting resin through it, and then have a separate bag so you don't contaminate your sawdust. So before I go over and show you the briquette press, I've just got to say I can't tell you how good it makes you feel that you're making sawdust into a fuel. It's unbelievable. As soon as we switched this machine on, even my wife came out. It's like we couldn't believe it. We're actually making fuel for our fires, and it hit just at the time when oil went through the roof. Logs have gone through the roof and they've got to be kiln dried, or they've got to be dried to a temperature. This could solve all the fuel problems for not only my workshop, but for me and my family, which is pretty cool for the log burners. So let's have a quick look. It's a really simple machine, super compact. There's loads more in the range. I went for the baby one. I'll show you how cool it is. Okay, so I'll just turn it off to save the noise. One of the reasons I put this outside actually is because I like my workshop as quiet as possible. I'm not sure I'd want this all day long going in the workshop, but out here it's brilliant. This used to be where the extractor was. I think this is where it's going to stay. It may go in with the extractors, but I think I'm going to put some sort of shelving so I can put the bags in, because this thing is pumping these out at a rate of knots. I'll show you these ones. This is what we took out the bin. So these are some MDF, they're rock solid. There's some MDF and there's some oak. So I'm still in the really early stages. Now these have been out here for ages. These are oak, and as you can see, there is no soft bits. I cannot break that. Now I was told, something I was worried about was, especially being in the barn out here, is you need to seal the bags, which I've done. I've got tons of them sealed over there now. But this bag was one of the early ones. I have not sealed it. This barn does get pretty damp. We've had some massive downpours, and these are rock solid, absolutely solid. So I think it can be a bit of a minefield. When I was looking at briquette presses, I found myself trying to find, sort of the most cost-effective one. One of the problems for me, this is, maybe not for you, depending what it is you do, is that with the resin tables, like you can't put the resin in there obviously, but with the resin tables there's very little sawdust. You plane off the boards. If you put them through a thickness of first, it's really good before you do the resin, then it's just a minimal skim. So I could go for weeks and not make a lot of sawdust, especially if the trend at the moment is for the metal legs. So I'm not actually manufacturing any wooden legs, which means there's no planings or no sawdust. So I didn't want to get a massive machine for physical size and cost. And I came across these at International Woodwork Machinery, and they're really super helpful there. We discussed what I might need. There is options where you could have 8 bags on a carousel. If you're going to be selling these things, maybe that's what you want. You want to sit it out here and let it fill up 8 bags before you come out. I've found that the way I'm working in the extractors that I've decided to go with, mainly the Felder RL200, I'm kind of coming out to check if there's tons and tons of planing or cutting going on. I'm coming out to check what's in there. If I find a bag getting almost full, I literally walk around here, tip it in, switch the machine on, put it back, carry on working, and then pop back in an hour or so, and it'll probably have made all of that into briquettes. It's just a brilliant compact machine. So one of the other differences is how it makes these briquettes. Now, it isn't using any heat. They're rock solid. It's using masses of pressure. I'm no expert, but I know there's no heat involved, so there's no fire risk. Obviously, I'm worried about that. I absolutely love the compact design. You literally plug it in. Hit the button and it's off. It is making briquettes. It's as simple as that. As you start filling your bags of sawdust, throw them in. It would just keep going all day long, making these briquettes. They're rock solid, like I said, which is the main thing. Now, I did do a lot of research. There's quite a lot of briquette presses out there in varying sizes, making different shapes and stuff. And I've just found that the way they make the briquettes, using a bit of heat, I've also found, looking into this, that people have found the briquettes go mushy really quickly, so you need to seal them immediately. This thing doesn't do that. I was a bit worried about the size to start with. As I say, this is the baby one, 20, so they're like 20 by 20 mil. Roughly something like that, like a cube. After using them, what's quite nice, you've got to treat this more like coal than you would a log. We shovel it in our fire at home and in the workshop. These things don't need anything to light. You use a fire lighter, put one of those in or a bundle of those in, and the thing lights dead quick. Once you get it going, you can shut it down, or you can mix and match it with logs. But the heat that comes out of these is much more than a log. It's more like putting coal on the fire. So you shut the fire right down and the room heats up really quickly. There's no mess, there's no dealing with any sawdust. The bags are totally clean in here. It's totally sawdust free after you've made it. And what I'm going to start doing is stockpiling this over the summer, and then I'm going to decide, maybe locally, maybe pallets on eBay, or maybe locally at the petrol station, I might start selling some manor wood briquettes in 20 kilo bags if I find I've got a surplus. But I burn this stuff all summer. I've got a hot tub, you know, I use hot tubs and make them. So I can burn this all summer in my hot tub, or I can stockpile it for those lull times when we're doing lots of tables and I haven't got the sawdust. So it gives me lots of options, but the main thing is that the bags are going to get done around about 20 kilos. I'm going to crimp them shut, put them on a pallet and forget about them, and then I've got fuel all year round and I've got no waste, and that is the major thing for me. So in the past, what I've been doing is getting the extractor bags from the felder machine, tipping them into the big bulk bags, storing the bulk bags all summer long, and in the winter having to go to them, shovel in sawdust, throw it into the sawdust burner, jump up and down, and it was a really messy, dusty job every morning. And then light the sawdust burner, hopefully you've done it right and it burns all day or nearly all day, and that's fine. But now I'm making these things really, really clean, cost effective. I can even sell them, and then I'm just throwing them in all the fires, including my home. So absolute game changer. Now I do want to come back to this machine and give you a bit more feedback once I've been using it even more. I've had no problems at the moment, but I'm really interested in, over time, how quick we build up a massive stockpile, and I'll give you a good idea of how much stock you're going to make, whether you want to start selling these things to help pay for the machine, which would be nice. So I'm going to put a link in the description to this machine and International Woodwork Machinery, who I got this from. They're absolutely brilliant. You can speak to Ian or Henry. They're super helpful. Explain how much sawdust it is you want to, or you're generating, you want to deal with, and they helped me select this one. As I say, this is the baby one. I was thinking about getting the bigger one and maybe a carousel, but I might wait a year and see how this works. If I find I'm constantly emptying these bags and I'm selling them, then that would be great, and I might go up to a bigger one later on. I don't know, but at the moment we've had this about 6 to 8 weeks. Been pumping these briquettes out, burning them as we go, stockpiling what we've got for the times we're not making a lot of sawdust, and at the moment it seems to be perfect. And it was Ian's suggestion, this size machine. Luckily it fits in this little cabin that we made as well, so that's really cool. Anything super technical, go on to International Woodwork Machinery. They're really helpful. Anything else, add in the comments. I'll let them know I'm making this video, so hopefully they'll join in with the comments as well. So I'm going to be coming back to the sawdust briquette machine, and I'm going to come back to the 2 extractors I'm using. There might even be a third one when I get the CNC hooked up. And I'll give you the rhymes and reasons behind that and why I picked the machines. But we'll come back to this in a little while and see how well it's been performing. But I've got to say, I am so impressed at the moment. I absolutely love it, which is why I'm making this video for you guys. If you've been looking for sawdust machines like I was last year, it's an absolute minefield out there. But I'm telling you, this thing is insane. Really industrial. I may not have said it's a 3-phase supply, doesn't use a lot of electric, and it just runs constantly. Okay, that's it for this one. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks for all your support. I'll see you on the next one. Until then, see you later.